Welcome to the Your Live Event Coaches Show here. I'm joined by Ada-Borup-West, Lady Cougar basketball head coach Dave Smart, almost halfway point of the regular season. Lady Cougars getting a victory on Tuesday night, just last night over Red Lake Falls, and upping the record to 8-3. Coach, 11 games under the belt, and you pleased with where you're at this stage?
Yeah, I mean, ideally, we feel we could be 11-0. I mean, we played well enough. We let the Holly game get away from us to start the season. We definitely let that first Park Christian game, get away from us that whole second half. And then the last Park Christian game. So I mean, legitimately, 10-1. But improvements definitely. I mean, we've come a long ways in that regard. We're doing some things that we weren't doing last year, that we weren't doing a few years ago. So that's good. We still got to do a better job of playing D. I think we still get a little too up and down on defense, which hurts us. And the one thing about having height, it's nice, but man, when you're standing straight up and down, that height can be tough too. You still got to be in a stance, still got to play D. So that definitely has been a work in progress, but we're making strides.
As you say, you're making strides. Improvements have been shown defensively, which I know is the pride and the backbone of the program. Defensively, there has been nights where you guys have, for consecutive possessions or even some multiple minutes, have really played very good team defense. So it's there. It's now to maintain or sustain or make that longer durations.
Yeah, definitely. And we've used that word sustain many times. And you're right. We've gone through possessions, or like you say, even multiple minutes where we're just playing lockdown defense. We're all on the same page. When one person moves, everybody moves. We're doing a good job talking, and then we'll go through these lulls where we stop calling screens, or we start getting lock-kneed when we're guarding the ball and they still have their dribble, and next thing you know, they're by us, or we're putting two hands on them and fouling them. So we got to do more. We got to keep improving, but our defense come a long ways, and hopefully, I didn't realize we're already at the halfway point of the season. Hopefully we can keep moving in the right direction and we can peak at the right time.
Offensively, the one thing that I think I've seen most nights has been very good balance by this team.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if someone wants to focus on stopping one individual. I don't know that that's really going to affect us a whole lot, because we had a lot of girls that are capable of putting up a lot of points. From Milena, who has been probably our most consistent scorer, to Morgan Engel, Morgan Smart, Izzy, Alex, Sarah, all capable of putting points up. Brielle has been stringing some games together. She had 8 points last night against Red Lake Falls, so that was good to see. So there's definitely balance there, and it's just a matter of developing some consistency.
Consistency, and this is a tough schedule. It truly is within the Pine to Prairie Conference, and in Section 6, conference has outstanding balance. North and South half, especially the top teams are very, very solid. Section 6 is you look ahead. You've got a Section 6 opponent Friday night, Lake Park Audubon. Section 6, though, one of the top sections I feel in the state as far as overall quality of some teams. I know other sections can say the same thing, but I'm just more familiar with Section 6. The north half, there's 4, 5, 6 teams that are going to be really, provided they all stay healthy and keep making progress, should be a heck of a tournament here in March.
Oh gosh, yeah, and I've always thought that was Section 6. In my opinion, Section 6 has always been one of the toughest sections in the state, and we've proved that. Year in, year out, teams coming out of Section 6 have more than held their own, and it's great for the section. Not so great when you got to beat them all to get there, but it's just indicative of the kids we have, and the coaches we have, and the families we have. It's a good thing. So I like that part of it. But boy, it is going to be a challenge. We feel like we're playing pretty well, and we're kind of on the outside looking in right now. We gotta keep winning if we hope to get one of those top 4 seeds, and And that's definitely no guarantee. I mean, there's a lot of teams right now that are ahead of us that are very strong teams. So we're going to have to hope they start knocking each other off a little, and we can keep finding ways to win.
Not a trick question here. What do you enjoy still about coaching the game of basketball? I know that it has changed and it's also evolved, and now we have the shot clock and different things, but just overall, what's still the enjoyment part about coaching the game?
I think the kids. It's still, when you get down to it, and I got to believe most coaches would agree. Just being able to be out in the court with the kids and and teaching them the game. Teaching them actually about life. I mean, a lot of the stuff we talk about, we tell them. I don't care if you're talking about basketball or what you're talking about. Hard work is going to get you places. Getting through adversity is going to allow you to handle things. There's just example after example, and we've had kids come back and talk about, they're handling some things in basketball, or like the pressure we put on them, or how we pushed them. How when they got out into the working world, they used some of those skills that they gained, and they used them to their benefit. It helped them get through things, and so it's more than just a game. And I think, as a coach, I think that's the thing I take the greatest pride in, or I feel most proud of, is these kids that, especially these ones that come back and tell you. I mean, right there, they make a long coaching your career more than worth it, because just hearing that stuff is great, and it's what keeps me coming back.
Yeah, absolutely. I know you've shared with me stories about the kids that have come back, and then they start coming back after you're invited to their wedding, and then you start seeing their children, and they bring the kids around, and all of that. That's just great times.
It is, and yeah, listening to them. Well, Elizabeth is one that I've talked to, and she talks about some of the stuff she's faced, and she said she's been able to handle it more easily just because she learned how to handle those things. So, to me, that's great. And it's great when kids realize that a lot of the stuff that we do, a lot of the stuff that we try to teach them is stuff that's going to apply to no matter what they do. And it's good when, you get to hear about that.
Coach Dave Smart, Ada-Borup-West girls basketball. Thanks for the time, the conversation, and always appreciate that on and off the air. And you run a quality program. Congrats on that. And good luck to you and the Lady Cougars the rest of the way.
Thanks, Burke. We're going to keep working hard. No other solution.
Very good. Your live event coaches show with Ada-Borup-West girls basketball head coach Dave Smart.
Live, work, and play here in Hillsboro, North Dakota. The Hillsboro Economic Development Committee can assist you with information and support for business and housing. Experience Hillsboro. More at 104.
As we continue now on our YourLiveEvent.com Coaches Show, joining us from the Fargo South Bruins, that's their boys basketball coach, here Mike Hendrickson, as they get ready for a big rivalry night coming up on Friday, hosting the Fargo North Spartans. Mike, before we talk about Fargo North-South week and everything else, it's been a really good season for you guys in conference play. You're 5-1, 6-4 overall, and your 4 losses are all within 10 points or less, so you've been in every game that you've played this year, Mike. As we kind of get to the midway point, what do you like most about this year's version of the Bruins basketball team?
Well, I think it's our depth. I mean, right now we don't have a lot of size, and I say right now we're still waiting a couple weeks on Cole Kigba and Reese Kessel, and they're going to bring a lot of size to us. And I just trying to figure out how to play 12 kids is going to be our issue as coaches, but that's a good problem to have. But we just have 10 kids right now that are all getting anywhere. I'm looking at just last night's minutes, anywhere from 14 minutes to 32 minutes. And, we're telling the kids, if they get out there and they go as hard as they can for 3 minutes, we're going to give them a break, get them out, get them rested, and then we're going to get them back in there. And we got, they're buying into that how hard we need to play on every single play. It's not, we're not letting anybody take a break. I mean, we put a lot of pressure in James Hamilton to be our guy. And I'm just the same type of thing. I said, if you're going to coach James, you're not going to play as much. So you got to go and play hard all the time. And, he's picked that up a little bit. And, when he plays hard, he's a really good player on both ends of the floor.
The one thing I kind of look at, Mike, this year in the EDC, and it seems to be ever so expanding, as we've alluded to a couple weeks ago, and when I talk with other coaches, it doesn't matter what given night you could get beat at the buzzer. That Red River did it to Shanley, last week. You saw Davies and North in an absolute rock fight, 45-41. And then the next game, Fargo North goes off for a season high 90-plus points against West Fargo. So as a coach, what's the pulse of the EDC this season as you've gotten, 6 conference games in so far here, Mike?
Well, you knew something was up once we went to 3 classes. I'm not saying that the 3 teams that left the AA division were, Devils Lake is really, really successful at their level, and so was Waupun and Valley City. But you just knew when you were going to put these nine teams together that there wasn't going to be that big breakaway by one team, and there wasn't going to be that team at the bottom. I mean, it was every single night you need to be ready to go. And, we were just talking in here a little bit ago in our office here that we're done traveling on the road now. We don't have to take a bus ever again this whole year, and which is, until the state tournament if we happen to get there. But it's really neat that these teams are against each other, and all of us coaches have been going against everybody forever. We know what we're doing, we know what they're doing, and so it's made it a lot of fun. I just think when you look up and down the lines, you just got the players, the athletes, and everything like that route. So any given night, like you said, you can score 90 one night, and the next night you can score 45, depending on what type of defense is going on out there. And we've had games where, like you said, with our record with 1 loss in the EDC. I mean, we're happier in heck that that's where we're at. But you never know. In 2 weeks, we could have 4 more losses and just kind of equal everything out. But we tell our kids, if you keep playing hard and you keep doing those things, we're going to have some type of advantage out there on the court.
As you take a look at North-South, obviously Friday night should be a jam-packed gym. We've been seeing basketball fans come out in droves here with the talent that's on the court, whether it's in the Metro or across, AA, A, or B here this season, Mike. But when you think of North-South, whether it comes to your memories with basketball, whether it comes to any other sport, when North-South comes to mind, when the 2 teams go off against each other, Mike, what are some stories or what are some things that come to mind right off the bat?
Oh, it's just a great rivalry. I mean, one of the ones I remember back, I think we were number 1 in the state, or they were number 1 in the state, and we were number 2, or vice versa. And it was a Saturday, like early afternoon game up at Fargo North. And I think about halftime of the JV game, they had to shut the doors and not allow anybody else in. And Jack Michaels at the time was doing the game, and he had to call me on the cell phone and say, hey, can you sneak me in the back? I got to get in, and they're not letting me in. And that was just the atmosphere. It was always crowded. They pull the bleachers in on the ends, and both ends, and it was just wild and those type of things. But that's the way it should be. That's the way that rivalry is. I mean, and you look at all the sports. I mean, this year's football game up at Fargo North was just an unbelievable game. It was so much fun to watch those kids on both sides. And, I know they beat us, but at the same point, we could have just well won that game as that. And I look back last year, I was watching film today and went back and looked at some film from last year, and we played them at our place, and the game went to overtime, and Dean Grant made 2 really nice threes to put it into overtime. And it's just it's a different rivalry. It's a lot of those times that you throw a lot of the things out the door and you just say, let's just go out and play. And we're going to try to do everything we can to stop them and get down. But sometimes it's like, what? It's still, you're a bunch of 17, 18-year-old kids. Let's just go out and play and have some fun.
You look at your squad here this season, obviously James Hamilton playing like an all-stater as he was a year ago in terms of his production. Justin Zulu is averaging double-double, averaging double points for you in terms of around that 11, 12 points per game here, Mike. But who are some other guys, whether you want to talk about them or maybe some under-the-radar flyers? As you mentioned, you're playing 10 guys, so on any given night, someone could have that night where they're the X factor in a particular game, whether it's getting steals, getting rebounds, obviously scoring. So where do you kind of start this season with these guys 10 games in so far, Mike?
Well, right starting at the point guard, we got Dwayne Mitchell playing there, and Dwayne's just such a competitor. I mean, I saw that this year out on the football field, and he just was a receiver and just going to go make things happen. And, he's brought that over to the basketball court, and he's a really good athlete. He jumps. I mean, I think he's 5'9", 5'10" maybe, and he's going up and dunking the ball basically any way you want him to, and just can his speed and everything else just a whole nother level. And we're just kind of, keep working with him and doing the right things and keep playing hard. And you got the 2 Zulus, how fast those 2 kids are. I mean, I always like to say they're the type of kids that can shut the lights off and be in bed before it gets dark in the room. I mean, they are so fast, making things happen. Abu Trali has been playing for us, a left-handed little, I mean, he's one of those cocky little kids. Sometimes, I guess if I was the opponent, I'd be madder than heck at the kid by the end of the game. But boy, he makes us play, and he's a kid that's always talking, and he's very much so with getting our kids fired up and challenging them all the time. Casey Fallingstead, doesn't quite get the minutes, but he's starting for us. He's 6'8". Last night he had an incredible game. hit a big 3 for us, blocked a couple shots, rebounds, and he just loves the game of basketball. And so it's fun to see him play. And like, again, he knows his limitations. He's not the fastest kid out there, and he understands that, but he's into everything he can with his length and that type of stuff to be productive every moment. You look at, another one that's kind of been under the radar is Ali Shahid. He played last year sophomore basketball for us, and all of a sudden this summer and this fall, it was like, who is this kid? I mean, jumps well, left-handed, does a lot of nice things around the rim. He's probably right now, I mean, he's not starting for us, but he's one of our kids we're looking at is, boy, you're getting us to that next level because of your effort every single time you step on the court. Last night, Abakar Minganuji, it was just kind of comical. He's a sophomore, but a long kid. And we want him down around the basket and rim, and we get a kind of a breakaway in the second half towards the end of the game. And he gets the ball in the corner, he pulls up and hits a 3. And us coaches were like, no. And it goes in, and it's one of those no, yes things. And then we turn around, and the game is tied with probably maybe 30 seconds left in the game last night. We run a play, and it's supposed to be getting him sweeping off the left-hand side, but instead he takes it and steps back and shoots a 3-pointer right over, Mr. Pay, who's a heck of an athlete, and he just drills it and put us up 3 with, 30, 20 seconds to go, something like that. And he just doesn't have a conscience. I mean, we tell him we need you to do this, and he's going to go do his own thing a lot of times, but that's okay because we want him to play and go make things happen that way. And you turn around and kind of an unsung hero. Another sophomore is Josh Barjolo. I'm just looking at our stats here, and he played 32 minutes last night and had, what do you have for points? 14 points. And he's just a warrior out there. I mean, he's a kid you love to have go to war with you. And then you turn around to, Michael Hamilton, who the game we are talking about at Horace just went off. And when Michael hustles and plays hard on both ends of the floor, he is a really good player. And last night he hit a big 3 for us in a big moment of the game. And we just, again, he's kind of one of those ones where we're looking at 10 players and we want to get him up to being that 6, 7, 8 guy. And he's right now at that 8, 9, 10 guy. And, I know he's capable of moving up. And so we're challenging him to let's go make things happen that route. And then I guess you look at James Hamilton. And, he is our all-state guy. I mean, last night he had another double-double, and I think he's been averaging a double-double with 20. And he only had 8, and I hate to say only. He had 18 last night, and what did he have? 14 rebounds. And that's what we expect out of him. And like we said earlier here, if he's going to work hard, he can do that every single night. And he's a really good basketball player and understands that part of it. And we know that we need him to defend. And when we need a rebound, it's like, James, you go get this darn rebound, and he'll go get it for us.
Yeah, really nice win, 78-73 on the road at Grand Forks Central over a ranked opponent. As you kind of take into Fargo North, and you're going to have, again, the Cheyennes and Davies and everybody else, part 2 coming up here, Mike, as we kind of sweep from the first part of the EDC to the second part of the round robin, so to speak. But what do you hope to take, whether it's against Grand Forks Central, some of your non-conference games this season to where we are now? What do you hope to take from the first part of the year moving forward here as we kind of are in the latter part of January, right? These are the dog days of the basketball season. It's still dark out when practice gets done. It's still dark out when you come to school. But once you get to February, March, all of a sudden the season really shrinks really quick before you get to that EDC tournament, Mike. So what do you kind of hope to take before a little over a month from now before postseason play begins?
Well, exactly. This has been tough on us as we've played in our holiday tournament, and we had a week off and played Davies, had a week off and played Central, had a week off, and now on Friday we play North. And it's like, we've been in the gym a lot. And we've been going against each other, but we've told our kids, we're shrinking down our time frame of practice. And we just told them that, hey, give us an hour and 15 minutes as hard as you can go. And when you walk out onto the court, it's everything else is behind you. Let's just go out there and play hard. And you know what? Our kids have bought into that. And I think that's been our biggest jump is that, they like each other. They're like a bunch of brothers is where they're giving each other a bad time and they're picking on each other, but that's it's not a mean thing. It's more of a, hey, this is the way we are and this is what we're about. And you want to take this and jump into that February. And we look at it as, we beat Cheyenne, who's a ranked team. We beat Davies, who's a ranked team. We beat Central, who's a ranked team. And that's the good part about it is that we are making a turn with, thinking that we have something going well for us and we just got to keep it up. And that was, our talk last night after the game and even before the game is you got to be prepared for everything. Nothing's easy. I mean, nothing at all in this league is easy. We got great coaches in this league, and they're going to have their teams ready for every single night. And that's what we just got to understand. It's not that, hey, we're 6-1 or 5-1 or whatever we are, and I don't even care about that. It's just about that. What game is next? It's I couldn't tell you. I know we do play West Fargo sometime next week. I don't know when it is, but we are getting prepared for Fargo North. And and up to this point, before we played Central, we didn't even talk about Fargo North. We're just always just going just one at a time, and let's get through that one and see where we're at and what we can do.
Mike, as always, thanks so much for your time. Best of luck here throughout the rest of the season and on Friday night on Rivalry Night from Fargo South.
Hey, thank you very much. Have a great day.
That again, Mike Hendrickson, head coach for the Fargo South Bruins boys basketball team, will continue on our Coaches Show after this.
Hey growers, when working on your water management solutions, call Chad's Excavating out of Mayville. They are your water management contractor, helping you with tile drainage plans, service drainage plans, or both. Remember, water management is a lifetime investment. Call Chad 701-430-0182 to get your water problem solved. For more information, follow Chad's Excavating on Facebook. For tile drainage and service plans, call 701-430-0182. Chad's Excavating out of Mayville, helping farmers grow.
Do you want that new boat? Are you building onto your home? Maybe you want the new camper or ATV. Dakota Heritage Bank can help you. This is Dustin Nagel, president at Dakota Heritage Bank Hillsborough location. You can visit with me or our other loan officers to help with loans and lines of credit from Dakota Heritage Bank. We are serving you with locations in North Dakota and Northwest Minnesota. Dakota Heritage Bank offers financial services you expect with a local perspective. dhbanknd.com. Dakota Heritage Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
There's more at 104. Hillsborough, North Dakota has everything you need on your next road trip. Food, fuel, fun, and family-friendly activities. Stop by and fill up your tank or grab a bite to eat. Have a blast at Goose River Golf Club, the swimming pool, or one of our beautiful parks. There's even ice skating and cross-country skiing. Take in the sights or stay the night so you don't miss a thing. Experience Hillsborough and see why there's more at 104.
On the Coaches Show here today, we're talking with Grafton boys basketball and head basketball coach Riley Lillemoen. And Coach, first of all, thanks for the time. And what do you attribute this success most for your team starting out 8-1?
Well, thanks for having me. First of all, I guess the easiest way to put it is we have everybody back from last year, which is a big help. All 5 starters are back, and both of our bench players that played the most minutes for us last year are back. So we were kind of able to just hit the ground running this year when the season started. Didn't have to, do anything new really. We just kind of kept rolling from where we were at last year, and the boys have done a nice job so far.
Riley, again, 8-1. You're only set back to a Devil's Lake in a tight match. What do you feel like your team learned the most from that game that you're taking with through the end of the season?
Well, we thought we could compete with them for sure. Our kids play hard. We have some good players on our team. And I guess we kind of proved just that. It was a back and forth game the whole way through. I don't remember it being any more than 6 or 7 points one direction, I guess. If it was only for a possession or two. It was a battle defensively. They're physical, they're big, they're strong. We have some physical, strong kids that were quick, they're quick. They have kids that can hit shots. We have kids that can hit shots. It was a fun game. It was a great atmosphere. The gym was packed. It was rowdy. It was intense. And it comes right down to that last possession. We were up 6, I think, with about 2 minutes left, and we just didn't close out very well. We had a couple bad possessions. Didn't even get shots off on a couple possessions, and they made plays when they needed to, and it just went their way at the end.
Now, Coach, making the jump up to Class A from Class B, and I don't know if you know this history or not, but Grafton is the only school in North Dakota boys or girls basketball history to win a Class B title and then win a Class A title in the very next year. Of course, last year wasn't able to capture the B title, but your thoughts on possibly going all the way and capturing that another A title for Grafton?
Well, there's a long way to go before that can happen, obviously, but it's kind of a cool thing, obviously. And moving up to Class A this year, a lot of our schedule stayed the same. We've been playing a lot of these teams already for the last several years. I guess the only thing that really changes our closer games are kind of our rivalry games from closer round. We aren't playing this year. because we had to fit, a few other teams in our schedule from our new region. We're playing everybody twice and stuff like that. But it's been super competitive so far. Even when the scores haven't necessarily indicated it, the games, have felt more competitive. It's been fun so far. It's been a battle. We know every night you need to show up or you're going to get beat. And our kids have shown up so far and done a nice job.
Coach, as we take a look at your schedule up to this point and what you have going on the rest of the way, played a lot of a fair amount of Class B teams in Langdon, Botno, Mayport CG. You've gone over to the Minnesota side and Thief River. Of course, played some now new Class A schools in Oak Grove and Northern Cass, and of course your region opponents. Coming up, you got some heavy hitters once again. You got the number 1 ranked team Kindred on your schedule coming up. You've got, of course, all your region opponents. Shiloh Christian should be a good match. Central Cass, go back to Minnesota with Stephen Argyle. Your thoughts on the schedule the rest of the way?
Yeah, it doesn't get any easier, that's for sure. The schools you just listed, first of all, and then we also have Devil's Lake again, Four Winds again, Thompson again. We haven't played Carrington yet. In the last 2 years ago, we went down to Carrington and they beat us the year we went to the state tournament. So we know we need to show up down there too, or you're going to get beat. If you don't play well and you think you're going to walk into the gym and just win, it's not going to happen in this league. So we know we need to play well, and it starts Thursday against Carrington, and then we have a big one next week against Hillsborough right away, and then Kindred at the end of the week. So Hillsborough's been a huge rivalry for us the last several years also. People might think they're down a little bit this year, but you watch their games and they're either winning them or they're right in there playing competitive, and they're physical, athletic kids. They have some kids who can play basketball too. So it's going to be a battle every night. And yeah, like I said, our schedule doesn't get any easier, but that's what makes it fun.
Coach, let's talk about your next matchup coming up tomorrow against Carrington. I know they're having a little bit of a down year this year, kind of a down set of years for the program, but your thoughts on the Cardinals tomorrow night?
No, they have some kids who can play. And like I said, they're going to throw some different defenses at us and try and mix things up a little bit. So we need to take care of the ball. We need to keep shooting the ball like we have been. And things usually go well when we do that. But like I said, last time we played there, we didn't shoot very well. They came out and they just kind of took it to us, and it was a battle the whole way through. And, we had to fight to get back into the game, and we just couldn't make enough plays. And they ended up coming out on top. And that was 2 years ago now, but that's the year we went to the state tournament. So we had a really good team, and we just didn't show up, and they did. And if that happens again tomorrow night, it could be the same problem.
Coach, again, we're getting towards the first third to half of the season being completed, and it's a great opportunity to kind of measure where your team is by this point, where certain individuals are by this point. Where do you think your team is, first of all, now, as opposed to where you'd hope they'd be by this point?
Well, I think if you had asked me before the season started if we would be 8-1 at this point, just looking at the schedule that we had and the opponents that we had, I'd be pretty pleased with that, obviously, with two of the top teams in Devil's Lake and Four Winds on our schedule already. To come out of Four Winds with a win was huge. They were missing Dang, obviously, so that's a big loss for them the night we played. But either way, they have some other really good players, and playing at their place is always difficult. They always play well there no matter who's playing. So to get that win was huge for us. And then, like I said, if you had asked me before the season started to be 8-1 at this point, I would take it all day.
And looking at some individuals, through the first 9-10 games of the season, who do you feel has maybe taken a big step forward, or maybe groups of individuals that have taken steps forward in the development this season?
Yeah, I think if you look back at last year, just watching film of us last year to this year, everybody that plays on our varsity has taken a step forward, I think. I mean, whether it's strength-wise, speed-wise, shooting, whatever it may be, they've all gotten bigger, faster, stronger, and it shows. Our seniors obviously are what leads us. They've been playing together forever. They do a nice job. They know where each other out on the floor all the time. They play extremely hard and set the tone for the rest of our guys. They lead us, and that starts with Braylon Baldwin. He's our go-to. He's our leader, leading point scorer, and he's kind of what makes us go, obviously. But we have 4 guys averaging double figures right now, so that's huge. And then we have had 2 other guys that aren't averaging double figures, but have led us in scoring at least one game this year. So we have guys who can put the ball in the basket. They don't mind sharing the ball. They're always looking for each other. We don't have any selfishness or anything like that on the team, which makes it super fun to coach. Those kids enjoy playing together, so they get after it and they play for each other, which is huge.
Want to give a nod to the rest of the seniors. You mentioned, of course, Braylon Baldwin, David Perez, Juan Villarreal, Ryan Hansen, and Gavin and Abram Savigny. Hope I'm pronouncing those names right. So I want to give a nod to those seniors that you mentioned. 6 seniors certainly bring a lot of leadership, got a lot of talented guys as well in the underclassmen, Riley, I feel like.
Yep, no, exactly. Like I said, our seniors are what make us go, and 4 of them get a lot of playing time. 2 of them don't play as much, but the two that don't play as much are a huge part of our team, whether it's in practice or just on the bench in the locker room. They're great leaders. They care about their teammates. They want what's best for the team and their friends, and that goes a long ways, because then our underclassmen see that also, and they see that, even if you're not playing or not, putting up all the stats, you can still be a big part of the team. And we know that how important that is. And we make sure our kids know that too.
Coach, anything else you want to mention here on the Coaches Show?
I don't think so. I think it's, with the new 3 classes here, everyone's kind of excited for it, and it's gone well so far. And there's going to be good and bad to it, obviously, but we're enjoying it so far, and the games have been super competitive and fun, and it's intense, and hopefully it continues to be that way.
Grafton head boys basketball coach Riley Lillemoen joining us on the Coaches Show. Coach, thanks so much. Best of luck. I know we'll see your teams down the road at some point.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Joining us now from Sargent County, he is the head boys basketball coach for the Bulldogs. That is Ryan Weber. They're off to a 7-3 start to the season. As we've kind of been saying a lot over the last week or so, it's the midway point of the year as we kind of turn the calendar over closer and closer to the month of February. Ryan, let's just start there. 10 games in so far. You guys have pretty much been in every game in the capacity of that you played, even if you came up on the short side of the stick. You played some A teams. You played a ton of B teams. Just your early thoughts on the 3 divisions and kind of where your team kind of lands right now here, Ryan.
I'm really enjoying it. Our games are a lot more competitive. Our guys are really enjoying it. I think it took them a second to get used to how competitive a lot of our games are going to be. With the shift in our region, we started playing a lot more teams out west, and they're really good. The district that we joined for Region 1, it's a tough district, and our guys are learning that along the way, that each night's a fight, and you got to come ready to play. But I'm really enjoying it. I'm seeing the competitive balance that we were hoping to see. And obviously, we all have ups and downs, things like that. But I'm a big fan of it. I'm liking what I'm seeing so far.
From a Division B standpoint here, Ryan, do you like the scheduling, the first year of the 3-class system? Do you hope to see some more, Division A, Division B? Maybe you go to Minnesota, maybe you go to South Dakota. From a Sargent County perspective, how has everything kind of been going for this first season, and what do you expect to change or stay similar for years going forward?
Yeah, I mean, we go out west a lot more now than we have in the past. There's some long road trips out to Linton. We went to Napoleon, but that's going to happen. We wanted this 3-class system, so that's going to happen. We do play TS Pazina. They're by Sisseton, so that's not a state one. We've tried to schedule a couple of Minnesota teams to stay a little closer. We play Breckenridge coming up this year at the NDSCS shootout. If we could schedule a few more Minnesota teams, keep us closer, or, going up a division, I think that would be great. Play some of the teams that we used to play. And of course that's kind of up to them and the competitive games that they want to see. But yeah, I think in the future, you'll see us play a few more out-of-state teams. We're right by the South Dakota, Minnesota border. So right across from us, we got Britain, Sisseton, a few more schools down there. We can go to Aberdeen. I think you'll see a lot more of that going forward here.
Taking a look at just District 1, I know it's a little bit different, as you mentioned, with the Littons of the world, who are in your region now, but, it's a non-district game, a big game with Barnes County North coming up tomorrow night. They're a quality opponent. You still got Hankinson coming up on the schedule as well. Just your early thoughts on some new faces in District 1 and some old faces here, Ryan. How's everything kind of, panned out to this point in terms of some of the teams that you've seen on the hardcourt here this season in District 1?
Yeah, I like it so far. We're getting into it. We played Tri-State, Winery, Lidgewood. We played Maple River. Like you said, we got Barnes County coming up. They're a good team, quality opponent. Richland, Hankinson, they're coming up for us. But I really like it. I like the district breakdown. I can see the competitive balance, and it's interesting trying to explain how districts and regions work to the kids, because they don't really understand it. The kids I have now have all been super region, so it's tough explaining, like the top 4 will face their top 4. But I really enjoy it. I like district tournaments, and being able to play up in Valley City. The atmosphere I know is going to be great. It's going to be packed house up there. I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's fun because it's one of those new things. You have a generation of hoops fans that never have a district tournament on the eastern side of the state. And then as a principal, as a teacher, Ryan, you continue to teach them and learn them a little bit here along the way. I guess the one question is that is the follow-up from, the Widdiches, the Martinsons, from the Caiduns that are on your team of the world here. Ryan, what have you heard most about the three-class system from your players when it's the first year of them also learning a little bit? Was it about the fouls and having, 5 team fouls per quarter? Then it, goes back to 0. Was it about, hey, what is districts and how do we get to regionals? I mean, what was the 1 or 2 biggest questions that you heard kind of through the off season and so far here this season from your players' point of view?
Yeah, the fouls, they get used to that. We're used to that now, and I really enjoy that. They reset every quarter, but the district and region thing, that was tough for them to understand. How do we get to regions? And then like the point system, each district game is worth so many points, but if you play a team twice, it's only worth 1 each game. And then they were wondering if those points apply to the region standings, and they really don't. It's all about how you come out of the district tournament. And it just took them a little bit to get used to that idea that, yeah, we played Linton. We had Edgeley postponed. We play some, Napoleon, they're in our region, but, in the grand scheme of things, it's the district games that are a lot more important than those region games.
It's going to be fun. I think it's been about 8 years for some of these B schools that they've had a district game, as we kind of mentioned, a generation of kind of players not getting used to that. Speaking of players, anytime someone gets to a record, I always like to kind of talk with the coaches. Luke Martinson surpassing 1,000 career points. So just kind of what does that mean from your point of view as a coach when you see someone like Luke accomplish some goals? I know it's a team sport, but anytime you get to an individual goal like that, it's always fun to give them some recognition here, Ryan.
Yeah, Luke, he's been playing varsity basketball since he's been in 8th grade. And, being his coach for that entire time is pretty special. I know it's a team sport, but Luke, scoring 1,000 points, it really, I think it shows it's a payoff for all the hard work that he's put in. He comes to all the camps we put on. He comes to all the open gyms we put on. He goes through the summer. He plays with our team throughout the whole summer. And it just shows that this hard work pays off. And I know Luke, he doesn't like to be recognized. And so we went to Ellendale. We thought maybe it happened in Linton. 26 points would have been quite a game, but we went to Ellendale. He didn't want to be recognized, but it's something that big, you have to be recognized. And then we came back and played Maple River in Milner, and I told him, like, hey, man, we got to get you recognized in front of your home crowd too. Not everybody was there. So we did a little thing for him before that game, but he didn't want to make a big deal of it because Luke knows that this is a team game and it's about the team. But you do something like that, you got to get a little recognition.
As we kind of take a look here, Ryan, who are going to be an ex-player or two when someone looks at the roster who maybe does some of the dirty work? They might not score all the time, but they get the rebounds or they guard well. Who are some players that you're going to rely on as you kind of get to this stretch run here of the season?
Yeah, I got a bunch that are stepping up right now. We got Colton Caiden has stepped in, filling a spot. He does exactly what is asked of him. He doesn't turn the ball over. He works hard, gets rebounds. Grady Wielander's really stepped up his scoring lately. I think he had 18 against Maple River. That's huge for us. A guy that can go down low, do the right things, box out, not turn the ball over again. And then, off the bench, I'm lucky enough this year to be able to go 4 or 5 deep. And I can pull Michael Hoist, James Trainer, Carter Hosford, or Chauncey Lovett off the bench and put them in any situation. And they've earned that. They've shown that I can trust them, that they're going to go in there, they're going to play defense, they're going to box out, do the right things, not turn the ball over. That's a big one. I preach that every single day of practice. And, those guys going to do it. And I have no problem putting them in any situation in the game.
Final 2 things for you, Ryan, before I let you go. Do you feel like so far through 10 games and some of the box scores that you've seen, it's more, as people kind of alluded to in the offseason with this 3 classes, volleyball's coming up a year from now, 1 more year of 2 classes, then it goes to 3 classes. But from basketball standpoint, a lot of people are saying, well, it should be a lot more competitive. We should see more teams in the polls that maybe we don't see consistently. Maybe there's teams who get 10, 15 wins who, making a region tournament. That's a really great year with the new districts, 2 regions, where before in some of these super regions, everybody, you win a game and you're in the quarters or the semis, depending on, what your seed line is. So do you feel like the competitive balance is a lot better than it has been in prior years with this new 3-division system here, Ryan?
Yeah, absolutely. I do. Even looking at the polls that come out every week, that the receiving votes section, there's a ton of teams down there, where last year there was maybe 2-3 down there that, as you go through the season, things kind of like weed themselves out a little bit. This year, not so much. I mean, there's some top teams, but once you get to that 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 ranking, it can be anybody's game. And you see the receiving votes and you see a bunch of teams, down there. I think that just shows that things are balanced out, and you can't just look at a poll anymore and say, yep, this team's in, this team in, this team's in, this team's in. It truly is anybody's game, I think. And I think a lot more teams are starting to believe in that. And going into the season, you can truly say, hey, this might be our year. Where before you could say that, but you knew you had some buzzsaws that you're going to run into when you got to regionals. So I think you're seeing that. You're seeing a lot more teams believe that hey, this could be our year. And I love that. It's fantastic to see. It's fantastic to see some teams that you haven't seen get some recognition in a long time. It's awesome.
Final thing for you, Ryan, before I let you go. If someone hasn't seen the Bulldogs, heard the Bulldogs, watched the Bulldogs in person, and they're coming out to a game, watching a game on your live event here throughout the rest of the regular season, what do you hope they take away? So if someone watches Sargent County Bulldogs basketball, what do you hope that they kind of take away from that particular game or from that particular night when they watch you play?
Yeah, playing style, we like to get up tempo. We like to play it fast. But, I always preach to our guys sportsmanship. I mean, be gracious when you win, gracious in defeat. Your competitors out there, but in the end, I mean, that's what it is as a competition. After the game, line up, shake hands, good game, talk to their players. And that's what's important. You try to teach lessons outside of basketball. And I think that's the biggest part of my job is win, lose, whatever, you still have to go on to the next day and like to take that all in perspective. And even if you lose, it's, you're still human. You can still be friends, buddies, whatever. It's fine.
Ryan, I appreciate the time. Best of luck moving forward against Barnes County North tomorrow night and throughout the rest of the regular season here.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Chase. Appreciate it.
That again, Ryan Weber, head coach of the Sargent County Bulldogs boys basketball team, will continue on our coaches show after this here on your live event.
You may feel cold and gloomy when you look outside your window, but Trail District Health Unit's Brenda Stallman encourages you to keep the outdoors in mind for your overall health and well-being.
Even though we have less light to do those activities we enjoy, it's still important to get outside. Pets still need to have exercise, so take them for a walk, and kids enjoy the time that they can spend with you outdoors, so just put on more layers and get outdoors, because that typically is a proven and tried remedy to seasonal blues and loneliness.
Seasonal health tips from Trail District Health Unit.
I'm Freya Engen. I'm confident during the match, and when it's time for college, I'm confident Bank of North Dakota will help me make good student loan decisions. Visit bnd.nd.gov/confident.
I'm Lily Bell. I'm confident on the court, and when it's time for college, I'm confident Bank of North Dakota will help me make good student loan decisions. Visit bnd.nd.gov/confident.
Treat yourself to a great career at American Crystal Sugar Company. Team up with quality people making quality products. Full-time and year-round in a stable business. With great pay and benefits including time off available from day one. American Crystal Sugar Company invests in you to promote your continued growth and career advancement. Grow your career doing your best work within the world's best beet sugar company. Apply online today at AmericanCrystalCareers.com.
Joining us now from the Central Cast Squirrels on our Tommy's Express Car Wash post-game show. That again is Matt Norman as he takes a look at some of the final numbers in this one. 3 players in double digits for you guys. First, let's talk about Cole Holzer. I mean, I had you for 39 rebounds, and Cole had nearly half of them with 19. Second chance opportunities were kind of the difference in this game. You saw it from Holzer. We saw it from Narum with an and one early on in the game. Brody Runk as well. What did you just see from your team offensively with those second chance boards here, Matt?
Second chance boards are just huge for us. We have to we just have to attack the glass. We don't score super efficiently right now from distance, and so every second opportunity we get is huge. And so Cole's willingness to get into some traffic, and Carter Maggio, Jason Aaron, Brody Runk, they all did a great job making sure that anytime we can get our hands on extra possessions, we got there. And Eler Boer had a couple at the end as well.
Talk about the play of Brody Runk here. 8 points in the first half of play, able to be a disruptor a little bit defensively for you guys in a good way. What did you like about Brody's play here this evening?
Brody's really taken a step forward this year for us. He's learning really well how to move without the basketball. And one of Jason Aram's threes came from a great off-ball cut from him. Cole passed the ball to Brody, and we're able to rotate it to the top of the key to Jace. And that's just, he's become kind of a student of the game. And so when he can contribute offensively, we use some of his length defensively, it really helps us out. I'm really proud of him after tonight.
I know there might be some things that you really liked about this game, then some things that you got to work on as the season moves forward. What's the one thing you took away from a scrappy victory, but it's something that we kind of said in the pregame and been talking with coaches, this region, there's not a lot of margin for error if you're not ready to go for a 32-minute game, because on any given night, whether it's Valley City, Lisbon, Kindred, who you're going to be seeing upcoming, it's a dogfight here.
It really is. It gives us a really good opportunity to target some of our areas where we need to grow. I think in stretches today we played really good basketball, and I think in stretches today Lisbon did a great job of putting us on our heels. And we've got to make sure that we can adapt there. We've got to be a little bit more cautious with the basketball, especially in a full court. Down the stretch there, I felt like we could have handled their pressure a little bit better. But that's the best part of this is, you go back, you look at film. We'll have some clips for the boys tomorrow where we can take a look, analyze where we need to grow, and hopefully build from here.
The nice thing, it's a region win. You get to 3-1 in region play, 6-3 on the season. Let's talk about Carter Vercote. I asked Cole the same question just moments ago, but he gets that layup after Lisbon gets a layup immediately within 20 seconds. And about 15 seconds later, he gets a block shot. When you can see that from a kid, what does that do from your perspective as a head coach?
It's great to see. We've got such a great group of kids, and Verch is one of those kids, just willing to sacrifice for others, making sure that he's doing what he can to put his team in a place where we can be successful. And I love that. We love to see it. We wouldn't be where we are without this crew, and we're super proud of them.
You to go ahead 48 hours from now, take us through, if no one's been to a Central Cass Kindred basketball game in recent years, much less it's a doubleheader, so it's going to be literally standing room only, I'm guessing, here inside Castleton coming up, Central Cass High School on Thursday. Just take us, what's a rivalry like this been like for you as a head coach, man?
It's wonderful. I've got a ton of respect for them and their program. Love the way that they approach the game, and our fans love it too. So it's going to be a real competitive atmosphere. There should hopefully be a ton of people in this gym, and we've got to be ready. We've got to take care of the basketball. Their length and athleticism is going to cause some problems if we can't really do a good job of attacking the seams and making the right pass and the right play.
Yeah, without question, going to be a lot of fun from my perspective as a basketball fan upcoming on Thursday night. Matt, thanks so much for your time, and best of luck throughout the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Matt Norman, head coach for Central Cass, will continue after this.
A senior spotlight this week on the YourLiveEvent.com Coaches Show is a senior from Fertile-Beltrami. His name is Caiden Swenby, and we get a chance to visit with Caiden, who's having a fantastic senior year at Fertile-Beltrami, but has had a great career and looks forward to the next level as well, making his way to the University of Minnesota Crookston to continue playing basketball. And we're in the heat of the basketball season, Caiden, and I had the opportunity, I was lucky enough to be able to watch a really good basketball game that your team played against Nevis on Saturday during the Breakdown Crossover Classic in Perham. And, coming into this season, Fertile-Beltrami boys basketball, you were anticipating to be in the mix again and having a great season is what you're doing right now, coming off a nice win again here on Tuesday night as well. But I guess at this stage of your senior year, Caiden, are you enjoying this senior year, all the different successes you've had on the court, on the field, and in the classroom?
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it, especially with football, how we were able to make a good run at state again and get deep into the playoffs. That was fun. And then school, just enjoying every moment I get with all my friends, because I know after, I'm not going to really see them all ever again in the same place. So it's just fun with that. And then basketball is just my favorite thing ever. And just being able to have a lot of success with a family that we've built with it, it's awesome.
Which is cool. And you hit the nail on the head when it comes to the extension of your high school time, right? Being involved in a sport, it's a team, but it becomes a family. You guys spend a lot of time. You talk about the football season, in your last 3 seasons, you've ended your seasons at US Bank Stadium, whether it was in the Prep Bowl championship game or 2 years of state semifinal appearances. You've had a great run, and your football program, it's not like it came out of nowhere. Your group, especially this senior class, you've been playing at a high level your whole run.
hmm Yeah, what was it? I think we just had our football banquet the other day, and me and then Derek, the other senior, what was it? I think our overall record from 9th through 12th grade was around 41-4 for the football season or our football career. So that's great. And we've had success in basketball every year too. So it's been great.
And you talk about that football success. It was you and Derek Sorensen, 2 seniors. So one would expect to see that Coach Nelson and the crew will get the guys back again for some excitement next year. But I know, that was a quick transition. You carried over and have had late runs in football. So that's carried over to, a transition into basketball season. It hasn't taken you long to transfer. You said this is a passion for you. Basketball is basically a love affair for you. So tell me, when did you did know that basketball was your favorite, so to speak?
Honestly, ever, because, my brother always liked football, but he was always more in basketball too. But his class started when they were in 3rd grade and I was in kindergarten, and my dad was the coach for the traveling team, but I would always go to practice with them. But even then I'd still want to be better than everyone. So then I've just always worked hard and wanted to play basketball my entire life.
You have to have a drive, right? You got to have a reason, and basketball is one. And it often happens, and I'm picking on your brother a little bit, it often happens that the little brother's a little bit better because at the same time, he was always your motivation. Would you say that?
Yep. I'd say that because I'd always want to, be better with them. And he was always good at some other things. And I'm like, well, I want to be known for something. I kind of want to be a little different than him. And I just always wanted to be the best at sports, I guess.
You've had a great coaching staff and from even just learning from your brother, from your dad, then also working into the system at Fertile-Beltrami with the different coaches that you've had throughout your career. And that translated to, did you play in the off season, AAU ball, things of that nature?
Yeah, I've had great coaches, football and basketball, and especially in AAU, Matt Bloom. He was my AAU coach for West Central United, and he's a great guy. He would want the absolute best for all of his players. He didn't really know us right away, but even that became a family, especially playing 40-some games in the summer. And, we still talk about my games today. I'll text him, whatever, say how it goes, and we'll just talk about stuff. And having those coaches, and even Steffes and Nelson, just being able to go there and talk with them about anything that's not related to sports, it's great to have those guys.
It's more than just being a coach, right? They become an extension of family, like you mentioned. But so, Caiden, when it comes to basketball, obviously – we mentioned it that you're going to go to the University of Minnesota in Crookston. Opportunity, you made that announcement here a couple months ago, and UMC just down the road. Were there other schools that you were looking at considering, or was it UMC all the way?
Oh, there were some other schools I was considering, like Concordia I was maybe considering, and then Northwestern up in the cities because I would have maybe golfed there too. Mm-hmm. But then it just came down to UMC because, they're close to home. And I have a lot of family that always comes to all my games. And I know that they'd want to be able to see me compete and play at the next level. And, just once again, that family, those coaches really, it seemed like they really care about you, and they just treat all their players with a lot of respect, and they really just want what's best for you. And I just felt like it was best to go there. And I also wanted to get it kind of done early before the season started so that then this season I can just play basketball.
Nothing wrong with that. And the NSIC Division II is a very good level of basketball. We're seeing it right now just down the road at MSUM. As we talk, they're ranked number 1 in the country. Yep. So you've got great competition, fun gymnasiums, and the fact that you can play a bunch of games local. That's got to be a good feeling.
No, yeah, it's going to be a great feeling. I'm happy because, MSUM, they're ranked high in the state. And then I think it's Mankato or something like that. They're ranked nationally too. And it's just you go and compete, and that's what I want to do.
Try to bring Crookston up. That'll be pretty cool. Do you know many other guys that are future teammates? Has that been discussed much yet?
Not really, because I was one of the first commitments there for UMC then, and so then they're still trying to get more guys to be able to go and play there.
Sure. Well, it'll be fun. You'll have some great opportunity. Look forward to following your career, and then, like you mentioned, after basketball season, you'll get on the golf course and play a little bit too. And you guys have had a lot of success there as well. And that makes it fun. I know that golf can translate into a lot of other facets in life, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, especially for golf. I mean, in the past 3 years now, our school has won state twice. And then our last year we got third. And so we've had a lot of success there in golf too. And now those guys will be there for each other whenever, during, no matter when, even out of high school. We're just that close. And we actually, most golfers this year will have 5 seniors probably, I think. And we've all been in golfing our entire lives. And so then we're just really close. And yeah, it's just a great group of guys.
Super fun. We talk a lot about your sport, which today is a focus as a senior spotlight of your sport. You do pretty good in the classroom too. You hover upper 3.9s. I mean, you do well in the classroom. Has that always been something that you've taken, I mean, obviously seriously, but has it, monopolized some of your time outside of activities?
Yeah. Well, when it comes to school, once again, I want to be on the top. And I've also taken like every college credit class that our school provides. So I'll be going into college with like 27 or something like that credits for college. And so that's nice. But I'm one of those people that if I get one wrong on a test, I'm like, well, why'd I get that wrong? And it's like, I just want 100% on everything. And so a couple of A- there really didn't make me the happiest. But then but it takes time and it takes effort to do good in school. And I try and do that.
I had a good buddy of mine that shared a lot of that same attitude. He had 180 that's kept him from a 4.0. He's a rocket scientist now. So, I mean, it's no big deal. Sometimes you got to be humbled, right?
Yep.
You're not going to make every basket out there in the basketball court. I saw this last week. Another good example is Caiden Swenby, a senior from Fertile-Beltrami. Will be going to the University of Minnesota Crookston. Joining us, our senior spotlight. I saw a good example of the type of player and type of teammate you are, maybe is a better term. You had a double-double on Saturday against Nevis, who was a top 5 team in the state at the time. You had a double-double and also facilitated a ton of assists that you can stack on top of it. You can go out and score 40 points a game. You can also go out and score 18, grab 15 boards and pass the ball and see your teammates succeed. I got to imagine just that for you, it's as cool to see your teammate hit the 3 that you maybe help pass to or set up as it is for you to get a shot to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really feels good, especially knowing that I don't have to do it on my own. Like I know other schools, they have a really good player and he has to do everything and they don't have really good quality surrounding players around them. Mm-hmm. And so like against the Nevis game where I missed my first 2-3 shots or whatever, I knew that, hey, I can just get rebounds and I can trust my guys that have also put in time and effort. And I trust that they'll go out and make their shots. And that's just what had happened. And even in overtime, Briar and Mason hit those big shots in overtime, those big 3s. And it feels great knowing that, hey, I can just play defense. I can make sure my guy doesn't score and I can just help create open shots for other people and just trust that they'll make them.
It's been a fun time following you in your career and obviously just keeping an eye on how things are going this senior year. You're off to your midway point now in the basketball season and you got more senior year left. But like you said, it flies by. Probably the most profound thing you said was, we're appreciating senior year because this is the last year you're going to be around all the people that you are and that you've known. Take this from a guy who's been out of high school now for almost 17 years. It's very true. and you better soak it up because it does. It's gone after it. So what are you most looking forward to, maybe take sports out of it for a second, the rest of your senior year? What are you most excited about to achieve with your classmates?
Just the relationships I develop with them and just get close with them and going forward, be able to come back and talk to them, know what they're doing, maybe know what their plans are and just kind of be able to relate to everything with them. And then just also being involved in the community, knowing that I'll always be able to come back to the community. And it's just great people to be with and have around you and support you throughout everything you do.
You've had some incredible community support in the last few years. You've seen it firsthand from the send-offs to the celebrations to the way that they rally around the Fertile-Beltrami School District and the Falcon Sports. So from that standpoint, you talk about that. Just who else would you like to maybe say thank you to since we have the opportunity?
I definitely want to say thank you to just my family and my immediate family. They've seen me be pretty mad after some unfortunate games I've maybe had, but then they've also been there, I'm bored and it's 10 o'clock. Well, I want to go and shoot. I put a lot of time in basketball and they've traveled a lot with me, especially during AU. and they're just really great. And then my coaches for just being there, being able to be with them, and especially my AAU coach, Matt. He really impacted my life a lot, probably the most out of everybody I've been with besides my family. He's just a great guy, and I really know he wanted the best for me, and just then our just community for supporting us for everything we do.